The Amazing Race Season 35 finished off its race around the world in Seattle. And in just a few minutes, we'll reveal the brand new winners. But first, let's recap the finale episode. Okay, so as I said, all the teams travel from, they were in Ireland to Seattle. And they start off by having to venture to the top of the Space Needle. And I guess more or less like walk, I wouldn't say climb, but kind of walk out to the edge of it to get a clue.
Which is really cool.
It was really cool. And I will say that after watching the episode, this didn't seem as like maybe daunting as originally expected.
Yeah, I thought they were going to have to, in the preview for the episode, like, I don't know, rappel down the space needle or something like that. But no, this I would have been fine doing this.
I think this was a really cool way to kind of like start off the last leg of the season because they've traveled all around the world. Now they're back in the States and they just get this incredible like unmatched view of Seattle, which is really
it was
neat.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. So then they find out they're going to do what's called an Amazing Race Scramble. So there's 3 parts to it and you just pick your order. So instead of having these like very designated challenges and kind of rules and restrictions, you just get 3, you just have to complete them all. So tell them about the first one.
So the first one was glass, which I thought this was really cool. This was probably the hardest of the 3. But
I think it's the hardest too.
To do glass blowing. And I don't remember exactly what it's called. It was basically a bowl almost that you had to do very particular steps to get.
Yeah.
And honestly, two of the 3 teams really struggled.
Yeah, I was going to say Rob and Corey kind of made it look easier, whereas the first 2 teams that went in the episode made it seem a lot more challenging. I don't know though. This is like one of those things where it's like I don't feel like you understand how hard it is until you're like in the moment doing it because this is not something we do in our everyday lives. You know what I mean? So the next thing they do is grunge, which this was actually kind of fun because they really like played it up. So they basically had to assemble these like band sets for kind of fake bands.
They had to be roadies and set up for a show.
Yeah, which was super funny because a lot of it seemed very simple except when they needed to find the power cords. A lot of people were confused because it was tricky. The power setup was inside the actual like boxes. And so it was funny because each team had a different tactic to make that happen. But this I think was probably the easiest of the 3 you could argue.
I would say so.
Some teams really complicated it, so it was kind of funny.
That's true.
The other thing before we say the last part of the scramble is I love the scramble because it's so hard to know really where each team is at because it's really kind of it's anyone's game.
Yeah.
Because each challenge is hard for everyone, right?
Yeah, and you don't know. Yeah, you don't know how long they're going to take to knock it out and where everybody else is at in that. So.
Exactly. So the last part of the scramble was grab. This was pretty thrilling. So they basically had to be like acrobats, if you will, and climb up onto a trapeze and then meet the trapeze artist in the middle to successfully then go to the other side and get their clue. Here's the thing. This wasn't that hard in essence, but you had to get the technique down, and that's what was so challenging about this.
Especially for the older guys. They had trouble with like getting their legs around the
bar.
The bar, whatever you want to call it. I don't know if I would have been able to. I'm not flexible. And I don't know if I'd really feel very secure with
I don't think I would do very good at this. What's so funny, though, is like Rob and Corey's the first team we see do this, and like Corey makes it look effortless.
Yeah, he does the first
And then
try.
Rob gets out there and is like a realist and actually shows how difficult it is, and I liked like the contrast between those, so I thought that was really interesting. So once the scramble is complete, then we go to the kind of season finisher memorization challenge. This is kind of an Amazing Race staple. So right before the teams race to the final pit stop, they have to, it's different every season how they do it, but they basically have to remember every single challenge they've done, what order and where they did it.
Just so much.
And then once they complete this, they race to the pit stop. Here's what's interesting. So the Beard Bros were actually first to this, had a really good lead. Definitely, probably could have won this part, but they made one fatal mistake that they could not catch, and they kept moving things around. So then Greg and John sneak up and kind of use that time that they are struggling to then make up lost time, get the correct answer. So Greg and John are first to the pit stop and are this season's winners, which here's what I'll say, okay? Although I was not all that excited for Greg and John to win, they are extremely deserving, and you cannot argue
I would agree.
They have been extremely dominant this entire season. I think they won, was it 5 times or something?
5 times,
High number before the actual final leg. Definitely deserving. They were really fun to watch. They had a great brother relationship. And they were just so well-rounded. Like, they were so good at everything, and I still don't understand how that was possible. And then second place was best friends Joel and Garrett, and then third place was Rob and Corey, which was sad because Rob and Corey were our winner pick. But I think all 3 teams were amazing. Honestly, this was a really great season overall. This was a fun finale to watch, especially not really knowing, kind of being on the edge of your seat of who was going to win because the placements kept changing.
So true.
But here's the thing. If you're not sick of Amazing Race like we aren't, then there's an exciting announcement, so go ahead and tell them.
Season 36 will return on March 13th.
So just a few months away.
Not as long as this last season.
Yeah, going to be super exciting. All right, well, thanks for tuning in with us all season long. And up next, I speak to the winning team after the break.